Of course, bro. I cut it a little early. I'm gonna be honest. But it's that song's such a vibe, bro. I was dancing. You probably saw me in the camera. But welcome back to the Bear Market
Yeah.
Builders, episode 25. 25. We're here with Seb, bro. How you feeling today?
Thanks, man.
How you feeling?
Good. It's just extremely hot out here in Texas. I think it's like I don't know, it's like one of the hottest days it's been in a while. And I mean, I just moved here like in the last 4 months, so this is like my first real Texas summer. So yeah, it's pretty intense. And yourself?
Yeah. Pretty good. You know, it's Memorial Day, so we had off of school last week of school. Let's go. You know, almost 10th grade, almost a sophomore, so that's dope. But
That's epic, man. Are you doing this? What a legend, bro. You got to start early.
yeah, bro, been doing this since, man, I was 12, 13. Well, I've been trading since I was like 11, 12, and then I started this when I was 13. So, you know, good like year and a half, 2 years now. So, and I was actually looking back at our old, our old DMs, and I asked you to come on my old podcast, but you know, we're up now. We're doing a lot better on this podcast. So let's get it, bro.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. I'm looking at some of these projects you were mentioning before, like Chatterbot Games, Rug Revenants. It really like takes me back to a completely different time in the space.
It really does, bro. Remnants,
bit of a nostalgia trip.
Remnants. I forgot about those. I made 20 sol off of mine. Love that. Chatterbot Games. I still talk to the one guy from Chatterbot Games, Rug Revenants. And FFF. FFF is still around. We love the Foxes.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But okay, Seb. Who are you, bro? Who's Seb?
Okay, so it's cutting out a little bit here and there. But just the question I assume is who is Seb?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I give like a little rundown, I mean, essentially, I'm kind of not like newbie to crypto, but I mean, I started in the space about 3 years ago. February of 2022 was when I really started to dive into Solana and NFTs. Prior to that, I was obviously interested in crypto. I'd seen it here and there. I mean, one of my closest friends, he'd actually been buying Bitcoin when we were in like matric, which is like grade 12 in 2013. It's not like he was really telling us to buy it, but I mean, you know, he was definitely alluding to the fact that, hey guys, this might be a good idea. And, you know, I had other ambitions on my mind. You know, mainly working in the music industry, like DJing and running events and stuff like that. So, you know, kind of always been around crypto, you know, just never really had the funds or the means to really like get involved. And to be honest, like looking at charts and stuff back then, I don't know, it was just, to me, it always seemed a little bit like, I don't know, too confusing. I was never the best at maths and things like that. So I just thought, oh no, this looks somewhat reminiscent of something to do with you know, maths. So I was like, I'm not gonna deal with that. But essentially, over the last 10 years, I've worked you know, running events, throwing parties back in my home country, South Africa, DJing since I was about 16. You know, kind of comes with the territory of throwing events, and then also, you know, worked on a couple of different ventures and for different businesses, like doing digital media marketing. Working in the film industry, so in front and behind the camera. So been acting in commercials since I was quite young, and then also doing like some set design, PA work on the back end, also some video editing and stuff like that for casting studios, basically where people go and, you know, cast for commercials and things like that. And then, you know, before getting into Web3, me and a friend started a company called Vindo, and we basically, you know, we made these desk pads, which were kind of a solution to COVID and, you know, trying to create like a clean workspace. So essentially big mouse pads, or these kind of, you know, longer mouse pads, kind of the size of a bar mat. So we print on like these unique designs. We do them for corporate as well. So we worked for a few companies in Cape Town doing custom branded mouse pads for the companies, mainly tech startups. And then, you know, also doing light boxes, signage, branded materials for some smaller companies and things like that. And then I got into NFTs in 2022. My friend showed me his Tire Robotics, and I was like, why are these things worth so much money? And how can I get involved? And then, yeah, I mean, honestly, it kind of just snowballed from there. I got into the space. I started to get interested in NFTs, um, and I was also making my move to the States. So as I said in the beginning, living in Houston. So I moved to the States permanently at the beginning of last year. And yeah, just it kind of already came together, with my move, Web3, this is the place to be. And yeah, here I am now, head of growth at Phase Labs, also CMO at Netrunner, and then also doing growth at Radiant Style as well. Those are really the core three things that I have my focus on. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, sorry. It is. I need to shorten that. I need to get that shorter. I think essentially, obviously, there was a little bit of that, like, oh wow, I've heard about NFTs. I remember when Top Shots came out, and those Blau NFTs were selling for insane amounts of money. And obviously, you see this, you're like, that's pretty interesting. And then my close friend, showed me these ties, and I was like, okay, but this is pretty interesting. Like he's holding these NFTs, he's busy getting this token emission that basically he can sell for USDC. That's pretty cool. Like that's pretty dope. Like maybe I can play around with this a little bit. Maybe I can trade a bit here, make a little bit of money, for my business specifically. Um, and then once I got into it, I kind of started to see the potential with NFTs and the community, and also just seeing what people were doing here. And I kind of started to delve a little bit deeper, as opposed to just the surface level, which was like, oh, these are JPEGs people are trading. So yeah, it was just kind of an entry. It was like my gateway drug into into getting into NFTs and essentially crypto. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I think that was also something early on that I kind of started to realize, was just about how there were no kind of there were less boundaries here. People weren't judging you based on your sex, race, gender, like whatever. They weren't judging you based on these kind of superficial things that we kind of have to deal with in normal society. Not that it's like people aren't judging you based on your PFP. I mean, if you like have a high level PFP, maybe someone's going to judge you based on you having a PFP that's not as expensive as theirs. Of course, there's always going to be that, but I think there was just kind of like that there was that kind of connectivity in the sense of I think you would understand this as a gamer, or most people, anyone who games, like how when you're playing a video game and you meet people online, you don't even know what they look like, but essentially you kind of form these strong bonds with them, sometimes even closer than some of your own friends in real life. Like yeah, I've had tons of people that I game with. When I was younger, that I was like, I spoke to, almost every day or whenever we played, and you would kind of get into it. You would talk about things you'd maybe not normally bring up to your friends, because there's this kind of like slight barrier there. It kind of creates yeah, exactly. So I think that's where crypto is really interesting, or NFTs, and what that's done for myself personally, and I think for a lot of people, is that it's like you can be talking to someone who in real life is like working at an insanely big company and makes six figures a year or whatever, or whatever it may be. But you're just starting out, but you guys are on the same level in some ways, and you're just working on this cool idea because it's all new and it's all emerging tech and all this kind of thing. So it's a unique place, and I think getting in back then, not that there is an opportunity now, but I really think like 2 3 years ago, 2022, was really such a great year to kind of get into the space, into the bear market, and just really get your get your feet stuck in and grind. Exactly. Yeah. You cut out for a second there. The last thing I heard was, can you tell me? I think probably what my moment was. So early on, like when I started, the first opportunity I got was working for this project called DGen Comps, and basically they were like, doing a rev share thing where they were like one of the first like NFT raffle platforms, which is crazy to think of now. But they were like doing these NFT raffles, and that was like really big, you know. And essentially, people would earn a revenue share from holding this totem NFT that they had. So I kind of jumped on there, and I was busy helping them with a bit of marketing and stuff like that. And it was going kind of okay. And there were some things that I
Evan,
didn't
can you hear
necessarily
me?
agree with. After there was like they were holding a large supply of the
Am I good now,
tokens, and there
Evan?
was I don't know, it just wasn't necessary of the NFTs, and I don't know, it just wasn't really something that I was vibing with. So you know, it gave me a bit of a taste of like, okay, well, but there is this kind of
Okay.
this whole market, like, looking at how people were marketing and advertising and the community and this kind of like unified,
Appreciate you,
what's the
Evan.
word, like ecosystem, like doing, because Twitter Spaces were huge then. There was like community Twitter Spaces specifically, like Monkey Rejects were huge, and there was like they were like. What is it? Crown DAO from Monkey Rejects were working with this project, and Monkey Rejects was my first NFT. So, yeah, it was all a bit exciting there. But after that, is when I had my real moment was with a project called CrowdSurf, and they got me on pretty early to help with business development and kind of like help spearhead like some of the marketing. And yeah, the tools and stuff we were building there was really exciting, and we did a lot of things really well. Like we did a lot of things first that other projects hadn't. Essentially, like I think we had the first pre-sale platform. Like we actually did a pre-sale for our mint, which was like the first time it ever happened. And that was also like a smaller mint, 888 NFTs, the Dead Surfers. And then later came the Crowd Surfers, which was like 4,444. And then we were doing this tech somewhat similar to Actadians, but it was a little bit more gamified in that people would pledge NFTs to basically earn a reputational score, which would basically show that they're a better investor than, let's say, someone who's just in a Discord to get the role, to get whitelist and then dump the NFT. And a lot of this thing really worked. We had this really great platform. People were pledging their NFTs, and we actually had a bot that people could put in servers, and it would automatically assign roles based on the user's pledge score. Like if they've been
Mhm.
pledging for a long time, they'd have a higher score, so that this is a higher level investor who's probably going to hold the NFT for longer. And yeah, that's really where I kind of got that excitement of like, wow, this technology is actually really cool. There's actually a lot of use case here. Like this is really dope.
Yeah, for sure.
Unfortunately, the project didn't last. I left in the beginning of last year. They kind of wanted to go into a more gambling avenue, and that wasn't really what I signed on for. It was a bit different than what we were doing previously, and I didn't really. It was just kind of chasing trends a bit at that point. But that was really exciting to me, just being able to build this technology, have users. We had quite a lot of users, and actually try and build this technology that worked to better the space and allow for a higher quality of investors. But yeah,
Yeah, I think that's where I met you because I was just thinking about that earlier, like where I met you, and it was definitely Crowd Surfers. That's crazy, but,
yeah,
man. I forgot about them until like literally just a couple of days ago.
yeah. I mean, it was honestly such a kind of passion thing for me because the artist who did the artwork was actually a friend of mine, and honestly, it was a really good base team. But I think that I really tried my best to push for specific things in the Web3 kind of sphere. Like we need to be looking at more on-chain data and stuff like that. And the product was really good. There was a lot of good to it, but it just unfortunately the same thing that's happened to a lot of projects is that some bad decisions are made. Things don't work out as they should. And yeah, but I mean, really, that project was a real eye opener for me.
Hmm.
And I still absolutely love the art, but yeah.
Yeah, the art is still clean. It's still clean. Um, Man, I think my moment when I was like, okay, this is actually gonna work, or there's actually opportunity here, was either on my 13th birthday when I made like probably like 26 Sol, something like that. Sol was like $100 or something like that, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna work. Or it was when I made, or it was when I made my teacher in like 7th grade a quick 7 Sol flip or something in like one night. It was crazy. It was crazy. But I was like, all right, there's actually, chances here, and I can work. So it feels good. It feels good.
Yeah, I mean, it is a unique place. Especially being on Solana for so long, it's like it's the only place that you are actively getting paid to use different products and protocols within the space. We've had a pretty, pretty crazy couple months with all the, the Wayne token drops, the, Mock Jupiter, of course, Tensor, Jito, all these DeFi platforms. I mean, that's pretty insane. Like, I think Jupiter was huge for most people. I mean, like, where that salary is higher than some people get paid in like a year, or for some people. I mean, it's pretty insane. So yeah, I mean, I think the space is very lucrative if you are able to keep your head down. Also, do like the right things. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's definitely an ethos that I've carried over for a while now as well, is trying to do things right. It's easy to make a lot of money in this space, but in a bad way. And I think that does happen very often. But it's not always as easy to make money in the space in a good way. So
it's also
that's
very
kind
easy
of
to lose money too. So
exactly,
you kind of gotta watch it.
Yeah, just sitting on your hands sometimes is the best decision you can make.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Caitlyn Jenner though. Thanks for making me like some nice money yesterday. Shout out Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah,
did you get into Caitlyn Jenner coin?
No, I didn't jump in. I mean, yeah, sometimes I just like making money, and I don't know. That was one of those things that I was kind of like, I missed the early announcement of it, and I was just kind of like, I don't know, dude. I can't stand that entire family, so I was just there's no way that this is like legit.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's pretty wild that this. I don't know if you saw that post. Like, apparently, Caitlyn Jenner is one of, I don't know, 4 other famous people that got swindled by this guy. Basically reached out to them to be like, hey, I'll make you this token, and then basically dumps all the tokens.
Hey, I mean, I don't know, but I guess good for him. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess fair game, right? But
yeah,
it's just crazy, man.
Yeah, for sure. That's crazy though. I did hear that he dumped all the tokens, and I was like, huh. Good thing I sold though. Good thing I sold.
Yeah, nice. Made a little bag, bro, of Caitlyn Jenner. Let's go.
Of course, yeah. You gotta love it. Gotta love it. So let's talk about working in Web3 now. How do you find your jobs in Web3? That's probably a better question. And first, okay, go ahead. Answer that one.
Oh no, sorry. You finished? You finished?
How do you find your jobs in Web3, and how would you recommend for someone like looking for a job in Web3 to go out and try to get their first job?
I mean, I think essentially just putting yourself out there, really, like looking for every possible opportunity. Look for projects or communities where you think you can add value, and show that you can add value. Be active in the chat. Don't just message one of the founders or open a ticket and drop your CV. Like, that's probably one of the worst ways like you can get hired in the space, unless it's like there's a legitimate kind of structure put in place to be like, hey, we're looking for people. A lot of the times, like especially in projects that I've worked in, or even people I've hired, it wasn't necessarily because we were looking for people. It was because, we need someone, and this is someone who was active in the community, and they'd shown themselves to be active, and they'd just been kind of not relentless, but just consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think now it is maybe getting a little bit different, where structures are becoming a little bit more kind of formalized, where some of these projects are, being a little bit more kind of serious in how they run these things, as opposed to 2 years ago when it was just chaos. Like you could just be in a server and they need a position. You're just like, hey, I'm a great mod or whatever, or hey, I can run this for you.
In general, chat, bro, and they'll hire you. What?
Yeah, so I mean, it's tough. Like I don't really have like a foolproof solution, but honestly, for me, it was putting myself out there. If there's a channel and they're putting in like, put your skills in here to help with the project, You put your skills in there. Go onto Twitter Spaces, be active. Talk to different people. Go to events. Specifically, if you can, go to IRL events and meet people, and just network, because that's the best way. You need to be top of mind for these people, and just show that you can do the job well. It's really just about being active and participating in the space, in all avenues.
Yeah, I think I've had one Web3 job, and that was a mod. And when we would get like this, just the people opening tickets and putting like the resume in, automatic close. We don't even look at them, because you want someone like actually active, like Seb saying. So be active in the communities.
Dude, I started as a mod, Yeah,
so I gotta get my bag up, bro. I gotta get my bag up.
But you're young, dude. You're young, bro. I mean, I'm 29.
But I gotta get a bag, bro. I can't be like a poor 15-year-old. Come on now.
You probably have more money now at 15 than I had when I was 15, bro. So you're doing fine, dude.
That is true. But you always gotta get more. Nah, that's the game. That's the game. Can't be starting to get into that game.
Well, I mean, in this space, it is kind of like there's two ways of going about things. I mean, I think getting an idea funded is, with NFT projects, a lot of these projects get their ideas funded, but they don't necessarily need to go this funding route. Like, getting NFTs or minting NFTs is an easy way to fund a project if you play on the basis of hype and marketing. But unfortunately, that leads to a lot of dead projects, because there's a lot of focus on selling out, but there's not a lot of focus on, well, what do we do after we sell out? How do we actually sustain this?
Yeah.
How is this actually something that we're going to put all our time into? Because it's a full-time job. If you're going to mint an NFT project and you're going to raise $500,000, like, this better be like your entire career.
Better be your baby,
you can't
bro.
be doing exactly. You can't be doing anything. Like, I've worked for a lot of NFT projects, but even my own company that I ran last year called Seeds, that I built with my co-founder Dubs, which was pre-sales. We never raised an NFT collection. We probably could have, because it was like super meta and hype, at that point. And we did really well. At the end of last year, we had like 80% market share. I would say we were doing like most of the hype mints at the end of the year. And this was like, and we bootstrapped the entire company ourselves. We got no funding. We literally did it like from the ground up. And it is possible. We could have gone and raised that money. But the thing is, then you would have been left with, well, look, now what happened is pre-sales are basically dead.
Yeah.
For the most part. So now what would I have done? Now I have an NFT community that, yes, it allowed me to raise money to build out this product. And yeah, I guess I could have maybe developed it in different avenues and gone to different areas, but that's if. But now what do you do? And that's the problem, is these projects raise on the basis of an idea that has no sustainability long term. It's like cool, but it doesn't have a long term.
You can't stake for the next 10 years.
Exactly. So now you're kind of like, you're putting your reputation on the line for some money now, but essentially it's just going to run out. And then what do you do? And I think that is, a trend, is that there are some successful projects or people that had minted projects before, and then they went on to do another one. But not always. I mean, Heist is a great example. Remnants is a great game. They went to do Heist. That's a team that can grow from each of their games. And I feel like in gaming is probably one of the only projects or types of projects in this space I feel has an excuse to kind of do multiple mints, because it's like, it's gaming and they're reiterating and rebuilding and this kind of thing. But
yeah,
for the most part, like, most projects don't need an NFT mint. If you really want to build something and you think it's a great idea, go do a pre-seed. Like, why do you need to mint an NFT collection? Like, you're literally just going to put yourself into more pain and agony than if you just go get a pre-seed. And if people don't invest in the pre-seed, it probably wasn't a good idea,
For sure. Seb, if Caitlyn Jenner dropped an NFT, would you buy?
Definitely not. I would probably, the only time I'd buy it is to then subsequently go burn it in Soul Incinerator. But if it had royalties on it, then I wouldn't touch it there.
If she had a staking platform where you could stake for Jenner, would you? I would.
I don't know, man. I guess, if it had really good APY, maybe. If there was a long-term vision and goal there, then sure. If Caitlyn Jenner's got a good long-term goal and product market fit for her token in whatever it does, then
what was
I guess
she
maybe
doing
I'll
yesterday? She
dip my
was
toes in.
golfing. when when her token drops or something. Maybe we can get custom golf clubs for every holder. That would be pretty sick. Caitlyn Jenner, hire me.
That'd be pretty dope. I would love to see what they. Well, they probably have enough money to have a proper worldwide distribution network. So
Yeah.
that could work. That could
Yeah,
work.
the whole Jenner family's good on money. But so you were talking about IRL events. What kind of events have you been to, bro?
So, the first event I went to, sorry, coffee hitting me there. The first event I went to was it 2020, 2022? Yeah, it was 2022. I was living in LA, and it was a Stone Ape Crew event. And that's when Stone Ape Crew was like, I think they were like 80 Soul Floor. So, it's looking good. I remember I was so pumped. Me and my girlfriend got ready, and we were like, cool, we're going to go to this thing. And I get that I'm so excited to because I hadn't really met anyone in the space, or anyone who really holds NFTs other than my friend back home. So I was like super stoked to go there and talk to NFT people. I get there, they're doing it in collaboration with this other weed company. Like literally no one knows what even Stone Ape Crew is. Like I remember asking this one guy, I'm like, hey man, you here for Stone Ape Crew? He's like, no, dude, I'm just here for the weed. I was like, okay, well,
dude.
I guess that's on brand. But yeah, after that, the first proper event I went to was NFT LA, which was last year. And then I went to NFT NYC, and then I went to Breakpoint in Amsterdam. So that was amazing. That honestly was just, some of the best experience I've had and has really helped me grow a really strong network of people that I really love and are really supportive. And yeah, it's just dope. There's something different about going to these events and being around, all these people that have the same passion and love for the space. Yeah. And then also went to NFT NYC this year. I'm going to Consensus in Austin this week. And then I'm also going to Singapore for Breakpoint later this year. And I'll probably go to Art Basel as well.
That's dope, bro. Yeah, I feel like going to an IRL event would be dope. That's on the bucket list for sure. But I just don't know because I'm young and it's like can't get into parties. You know what I mean? So it's kind of rough. So we'll either we'll wait or we'll just go.
That can definitely be a bit of an issue because I also help organize events. I help organize events for Monkey DAO. So, most of the stuff we do is definitely at bars and clubs. And we did have that problem in New York where there were some younger holders like Wombat and things like that wanted to get in. But like the bouncers were like, nah, dude, there's no way. So that is a little bit unfortunate that most of the stuff
me and Wombat can hang out outside the bar. Cool. Yeah, and Wombat. Have our Capri Suns.
Honestly, you guys should just get together and organize your own party. Something
that would be dope.
Dude, happy to help with that.
We should talk. Actually, he just DM'd me. We'll talk about that. That would be dope.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
honestly, there's so much potential there.
That's actually tough. I would love that for sure. Did you DJ at one? Didn't you DJ at an IRL event recently or something like that?
Yeah, so I DJ'd at the Amsterdam event last year, and then at the two parties in New York as well. The one I helped organize was at what's it called now? I forget the place. It was such a cool venue. I forget the name, but this sick ass rooftop bar, the Delancey, really really cool. Such a fun event. But yeah, I mean, I have to throw down, dude. Like, been DJing since I was 16.
I would love to learn how to DJ. That's something else on my bucket list. I literally have a DJ deck in my Amazon cart right now, and I think about buying it like every night, not every night, but for the past like couple days, I've been, maybe I just buy it. Maybe this is a sign, Seb. Maybe this is
it a DJM?
Huh?
Don't tell me it's a new mark.
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I would look. I'll look later. We'll talk about DJing later, and you can help me. How about that?
100%, man.
You can teach me.
Yeah, dude. And if you guys throw that party, bro, I'll happily help.
You'll see me up there, DJ. Boo.
Yeah, dude. It's dope. A vibe. It's not that hard. Once you get it, bro, it's a vibe. I mean, it's not like basically the real talent comes in song selection, understanding how to work a crowd. Other than that, when you're DJing, you just need to know how to beat match. And changing pitch. So a beat match is basically if I'm mixing two songs together and they're both the song on the left that I'm playing is 126 BPM, and I'm bringing in a new song on the right, and I load it up, but it's at 124 BPM. There's a pitch slider that I'll have to move up to basically match the pitch of the song on the left. And
Mhm.
that's basically just the same BPM. So then once I've matched them and they're both 126 BPM, then you have these cue buttons. And what the cue buttons do is they allow you to actually listen to both songs, even though one of the sliders is down,
Oh
so
yeah,
the
yeah,
right.
yeah.
And then what you can do is you spin the jog wheel on the side that you're mixing in until the kicks are in sync with one another. And then cool, it's beat matched. I can bring in the song on the right, and they're good to go. They sound good, and then you can bring the slider up. And then it's obviously EQing. You got to bring down some of the mids and the highs on the left channel because that's the one that's been playing, but you're bringing in the new one on the right, and so on and so forth. So yeah, takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's a lot of fun, man.
Sounds like it, bro. Man, that was a lot. My brain kind of hurts now, Seb, but that's all good. That's all
Sorry.
good. Speaking of DJing, what else do you like to do outside of Web3? Or do you have any hobbies? I know Gatto had hiking. What a loser. But you have any hobbies that you do outside of
Oh,
Web3?
dude. I mean, I love hiking. That's definitely something I love to do. Obviously, well, producing music. I love producing. I've got a drip channel as well called Moriarty. I got my first piece out on there.
That's dope.
And then I'm an avid gamer as well. I do frequent the Destiny 2. Got a little clan on there, a little Web3 clan.
Ooh.
And yeah, but honestly, probably music production and gaming really is the two main things.
Before I hit on those, did you say you have a drip channel? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah,
I just signed up. I just applied for one. Not gonna. No, I just applied today.
Oh, let's go, dude.
We'll see though. We'll see. Vibu did DM me. Vibu did DM me today. That's pretty cool.
Drip's great, man. You can get you a little bit of it. You can get some video content on there.
Yeah, that's kind of the goal. So just get video content on there. But music and gaming, have you always been big into gaming and music? Like, because I know I've loved music and gaming for my whole life. I've been gaming since I was like 2, 3. I was sniping on Black Ops 2, hitting 720 no scopes. So
I think so. I mean, when it comes to like gaming, I obviously I played when I was younger. Not online competitive because that wasn't really a thing when I was younger. Like when I was growing up, it was mainly like Oblivion and like like WoW and Age of Empires. Like played a shit ton of Age of Empires, Red Alert, that kind of stuff. Prince of Persia, these kinds of things. Throughout high school. In high school, I wasn't really a massive gamer. I was more interested in producing music, DJing, and partying. To be honest, that was kind of rather where I spent my time. It was actually only after I finished school that I really got into online gaming. Like I started playing Destiny 1 actually online when I was 20. And that was actually kind of where I started to enjoy, playing online with people and then kind of on and off, not really a ton. Probably in more of my mid-20s is when I got more into like playing a lot more video games online, like with Apex Legends and stuff like that. PUBG, starting with that.
Ooh,
and then producing, just been doing that since I was literally like 16 years. Just me and a group of friends from high school, we all loved music. And so we all DJed together and we all started producing together. So that's just been something I've been doing for a long time.
That's dope, bro. Man, every time I think of WoW, I think of the South Park episode or South Park episodes of WoW. It's so funny, bro. I love South Park so much. Bro.
Yeah, that is a banger. I mean, I only played WoW, like proper WoW Classic, for a month. I played more like a World of Warcraft, like the kind of Age of Empires vibe or whatever. You build your little town and you battle other players online. Yeah. But I only played actual World of Warcraft Classic for a month, and that was when I had an accident and I broke both my heels. It's pretty intense. So I was like bedridden for like a month or like 2 months. And WoW Classic had just come out again, so I just DJed that for like a month while I was bedridden.
Nice, bro. Did you play any like sports in high school or anything? You were a big sports guy?
Not that kind of. I mean, not really. I kind of did. Played a lot of cricket and rugby when I was in primary school, and then in high school I did a bit of squash. I mean, I did quite a bit of everything. I played a bit of tennis. I kind of tried all the sports. Hockey. Not like ice hockey, like grass, like hockey in the grass, and rugby, obviously. But then again, I was far more interested in DJing and going out partying
That's
than
dope. Yeah.
than
That's
than
kind of what I'm
sports.
turning to. I'm gonna be honest.
No, dude, play the sports. I wish I did sports more. To be honest, like I was good. I was good. I was pretty good. I was a good athlete. Um, but I just just wasn't of interest. I kind of wish that I did do a bit more sports when I was younger. To be honest.
Yeah. Rugby and cricket. Man, I don't even get cricket. I'm gonna be honest. How does cricket work? Isn't that the one where they kind of like they're like back here and they're like with this little paddle and they go. Isn't that
Yeah,
cricket?
cricket's gnarly, dude. Cricket's fucking gnarly. So I mean,
Oh, there's the
yeah,
little
basically,
sticks behind too that they have to hit, right?
yeah, the wickets. Yeah, and then you have like you got the umpire there making sure everything's Gucci, and then so yeah, you like even the bowling is pretty unique. You can do like these crazy spin balls and stuff. And then yeah, if you hit the ball, then the two runners are running across to the different wickets, and then whoever is on the the opposite end of from the bowler is then batting. And they flip it long games. I mean, cricket's pretty boring, to be honest. Like, but I mean, I enjoyed it when I was younger. I definitely
Rugby
far
sounds
more.
dope though.
Rugby's sick, dude, and South Africa is like the best rugby team in the world. We've won the World Cup 4 times now, the Rugby World Cup 4 times, two in a row, and New Zealand's like second best. I wonder if there's any Aussies or New Zealanders in the space. They'll probably say no. New Zealand's the best. The All Blacks are the best. But yeah, I mean, South African rugby is absolutely epic. Like it's rugby is one of the coolest sports out there.
Yeah, man. I don't know how you play rugby though. People be getting hit so hard. That's crazy. That's crazy. They make football players look like girls. Let me be honest. Ooh,
Yeah, rugby's no joke.
That's a hot topic right there. That's a hot topic. Man, hold on. Let me look at the Google Doc real quick. Some questions. Okay, we talked about outside. Who's someone that inspires you? Could be in Web3, could be in just life in general.
I know that this is going to be super super lame, but
Not
legit,
parents.
my mom.
Yep. We no this.
I have to.
I forget that I have to say that every time because literally that's everyone's answer. That's my answer too. But
I mean, the only reason why I say it, and I feel like okay, I feel like I can say it. It's just because my mom's a film producer, and she's like a really prominent one in South Africa. So she's done tons. She's done tons of films in South Africa. So I don't know. I kind of just got my work ethic from her. But I mean, if I had to say someone other than her, I don't actually know, man. Like if I had to, like, maybe I would say like Naval Ravikant. I know that's just a kind of a kind of corny one, but he's like a. I know the surname is pretty jarring, but he's basically it was basically a podcast between him and Joe Rogan that I listened to in 2021 or 2020 that really kind of changed my perspective on things a lot and on life.
Ooh, wait, what is
I think
it?
it was
You
like
should send it
27.
to me. I want to listen to this one.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
There are some good Joe Rogan podcasts. I'm gonna be honest. There are some really good ones that are like, man, bro, you know what I mean?
Let me see. So Naval Ravikant and Joe, here it is. I don't know. I just listened to this like multiple times when I was about 26, 27. And it just really changed my whole perspective on things and on life and on work. Just the way that how he kind of explains these different things about, how you don't have to be always, you don't like, essentially humans aren't like meant to just do one thing their entire life. Like some people can. And I was almost a little bit like envious of people that were just really good at one thing.
Yeah.
And just did that really well. Because I was like, I just wish I could, because I've always been someone who's just kind of a jack of all trades. There's that saying, like a jack of all trades,
Yep.
but a master of none.
Mm-hmm.
But that actually isn't the full saying. Like it actually goes on to say, I'm actually Googling this right now because I forgot the second half. But what is it yet? So
When are you getting Joe on your podcast, Carter? Soon, Piefly. Soon.
So jack of all trades is a master of none, but better than a master of one, which I thought was really cool because I always knew that saying of a jack of all trades is a master of none. But it goes on to say, but better than a master of one. So, it's like basically saying like, you can be good at multiple things, or you can do multiple things, and you can be just as good as that person who just does one thing really well. Some people are just built differently. So yeah, that was kind of something I really took from that podcast, and just the way he speaks on life. So definitely suggest checking it out if you haven't.
Yeah, isn't that crazy that like people like take things and can turn it, and like it makes it totally different. And this goes like in life too. Like so many situations you can look at it one way or a different way, and it like really determines your day. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy.
Yeah. I think there's some other concepts that came out of that, like really looking to stoicism, and how to kind of be a bit like kind of live a bit more of a stoic lifestyle, which is basically kind of just holding oneself completely accountable for all one's actions and all one's decisions and everything that happens in their life, which I think was just kind of really interesting to kind of delve into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like basically just really, if you, let's say you get your food out of the microwave and you were like, oh dude, you got your plate of food, you're so stoked. And then, if you're those times, especially when you're younger and you're like, oh, you fumble and your plate falls and you're like, oh, and it's like, there goes all your food. And it's like, oh, you get so angry. Mm-hmm. It's like, instead of just getting angry, just being like, oh, well, that happened. Pick it up, clean it up.
Can't cry over spilled milk. That's what I always got
exactly
told.
That kind of stuff. And then also something really interesting is mimetic desires. So a mimetic desire is essentially looking at someone else and wanting what they have, or doing something because you think you want it, but it's just because someone close to you does it and does it well. It's like being like your friends. Let's say you and your friends started. Actually, I'll use myself as an example here with the music. I love producing music, like for real. Like it's one of my passions. And, for so long, I wanted that to be what I did. Like I wanted to be a worldwide producer, DJ, live that life. And I did for a while, in South Africa, really just played at like a ton of different clubs, parties, ran parties. Like it can get quite heavy, that lifestyle. And a very close friend of mine who I grew up with, he's crushed it, dude. He's getting like he's got like 600 million listeners. He has like multiple millions of plays on his songs. And, I thought for so long that that's what I wanted and that's what I wanted to do. And in some small part, I maybe realized like, cool, I love doing this, but it's not me. It's just not what I am here to do. And that mimetic desire maybe is what was holding me back from doing other things. So, these kind of concepts in life can really help you navigate, just life in general. So I really implore anyone listening to this, like if you do feel lost or you feel a bit stuck, like look into these different things, read some Malcolm Gladwell books, like Blink is a great one. Like just really try and understand life. And once you understand it a bit better and understand these feelings and you can actually name something, then it becomes a lot more manageable and you can actually, improve your life a lot more. So yeah, not to get too deep, but.
No, bro, I love when it gets deep. Pause. Bro, wow. It's just, I don't know. It's crazy that this pops up on my TikTok. I'm on the motivational side of TikTok. I'm not on like the bad side, but still in that, still in TikTok. And it was like, isn't it crazy like how there's like how many people in the world? 8 billion people in the world. And like people just live a different day than like everyone else. It's crazy. It's crazy to think that some people can look at one situation so badly and good, in a different way, and they just live different lives. It's crazy to me. Like no one lives the same life.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also from where you grew up and where you're from. Like
Ooh.
I'm from South Africa. I'm born in Cape Town. Like lived there for most of my life. Like it's very different there to here. Than what it's like in the States. There's a different way of thinking about things. We have, we don't have all the amenities and, not that I'm saying I had a bad time in South Africa. Very, very lucky to have the upbringing that I had, very, got to go to some really good schools and, studied my degree in marketing and advertising at AAA in Cape Town. By no means did I not live a privileged life in South Africa, but it's like, it's just a way of thinking, like we have an issue in South Africa where our power goes out for like sometimes 6 hours a day in 2-hour intervals. It's called load shedding. And we've been dealing with this for the last like 11 years, you know? And after a while, you just get used to it. You learn to live with it, you know? Whereas, you know, here that may, if that had to happen on a regular basis, like, I don't think it would be, people, to go crazy, you know? So, I think it's just, it's unique, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think we all have different upbringings?
Oh yeah. Do you think where you got, you know, where your upbringing was, do you think that motivated you to work hard and, you know, not do something in life, but, you know, chase your dreams in life?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, also I'm very privileged to be able to live in America. I have a green card, you know, so we actually won that in the green card lottery when I was a kid, which is insane. So a lot of people struggle to, you know, move out of country, but I have a lot of friends in South Africa that have moved to different countries just because they can build a better life for themselves in like the UK or Australia or America or whatnot. But, you know, with the intention of always going back, like I fully intend to buy property in South Africa and go back there as much as possible. I love it. Cape Town's one of the best cities in the world, hands down. Some of the best people. But, you know, it was kind of pretty intense, you know, moving here and trying to get into this industry because, you know, a lot of the times you look at some of these people building, you know, big products in the space and you look at these interviews and, you know, I went over where my kind of background is and it's nowhere near necessarily in tech, you know, but you hear these other guys, they're like, well, I went to this college in the US and I went there and then I worked looking Stripe payments and I worked at these companies and it's like, you're like, well, dude, fuck, like I mean, I don't have that resume. Like that's insane, you know, like they had the picture perfect, you know, kind of progression through these different companies and stuff like that. I'm like, cool. I just came from Cape Town where like I made custom mouse pads, you know, like, I guess that's kind of, you know, and worked in the film industry a bit, you know, and DJed and through events or whatever. But, you know, over the last 2.5 years, I put in the work and I taught myself as much as I possibly could. And I threw myself into every opportunity I could find. And you just have to do that. If you feel like you can't achieve something in this space because you don't think you have the necessary, you know, resume or experience, like that's bullshit. Like this is a place where you can do whatever the fuck you want to. Excuse my French. If you put in the effort, you put in the work. Like obviously, there's going to be roles at some bigger companies where you're going to need to have some, you know, massive experience. But there's tons of startups in this space. There's tons of projects that are building and, you know, creating things. And if you're a good shit poster and you're good at Twitter, bro, you can get hired by a company to run their Twitter. Like the Web3 space is far different than the Web2 space in terms of how, you know, people interact with their consumers and their customers. So it's like there is opportunity. You just need to like put your head down, work as hard as you possibly can, you know, work smart and hard, you know, and if you really are determined, like you'll make it, you know.
Dang, that's a quote right there, bro. Holy cow. That like, man, that got deep right there. I like that. Man, you locked in for that, Seb. I like that. Good stuff.
Thanks, brother.
Good stuff. Man, kind of going off of that, do you believe that this question gets brought up in a podcast that I watch a lot? Do you believe that everything happens for a reason? It's an interesting thing. I mean, that's why I like to ask it.
I think there are ways that looking at life that make it easier sometimes, and I think that is definitely one of them. Not that it isn't true, but you know, you kind of at some point have to just let go and just kind of allow yourself to just go with life, you know. And that is a nice way to look at it. Like, you know, well, this happened because it was going to happen. And I mean, I guess that is true in that if something happened, it was meant to happen. Like, unless there's, you know, and if there is multiple realities, you know, let's say, well, then whatever happened in that reality was meant to happen. And whatever happened in my reality is what's happening. So, you know, if you want to look at it that way, yeah, I mean, I definitely think whatever is going to happen is going to happen. You know, you don't really you do have control as to where your life goes. If you decide to wake up every morning at 7 a.m., go for a jog and work for 8 hours a day and go to bed at a good hour, eat healthily, like, dude, you're going to be successful. Like 100%, you know, unless something insane happens and you get hit by a car or something, you know, obviously that sucks. But then I guess that was meant to happen, you know? So I don't know, life is what you make it, but you can't always, you know, foresee what what obstacles will lie ahead, you know? So
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
maybe that's a bit of a long-winded answer.
For sure. Or if you don't have to answer this if you don't feel like it or if you don't feel comfortable with it, are you religious?
I mean, I come from a very religious family. Like I've seen it all. Like when I was young, we traveled across America, and we even stayed with a convent for a while. And man, I've seen some wild shit, like pulling the needles out of the heart and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, I think I'm religious in my own way. Um, like, but yeah, I don't subscribe to necessarily like an
One.
extremist kind of a look on
Oh, yeah.
Christianity, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I have my own beliefs, I have my own ways. I've kind of adapted it to what I believe is right. Um, and seeing all of this stuff, going to lots of different churches growing up, seeing a lot of these religious groups and being around them, I don't know. I just never really felt like I subscribed to what they were doing. Like, I've been around people where they like do the tongues and things like that. They speak in tongues and stuff like that. And I don't know, just never like I was never like, oh, I that feels right to me,
Yeah.
like so. Yeah, I kind of have my own. I feel like I've been fortunate enough to see every different angle, and I've kind of got my own way of looking at things.
Yeah, for sure. I think religion or what you believe in, in religious wise, definitely is a factor in what you believe in life and how you look at life. So that's just why I asked, because of how you were talking about everything happens for a reason.
Well, on that note, I definitely think growing up, around that definitely did give me some really good life values.
Mm-hmm.
Like by no means are my parents like super religious. Like, my grandmother is like to the point of where she would like, pray in our houses and stuff like that for like to get the demons out and stuff like that. She's pretty hardcore. My mom was very religious, but it's never been like a pressure. Like there's never been pressure to have to go to church and do these things. So, but there were definitely things that I learned from it that I think definitely helped. And I do think that there is strength in allowing yourself to, again, as you say, like everything happens for a reason. A lot of people, that's religion for them. Like it's in your hands, like whatever happens, happens. So I do see the benefit in that for a lot of people,
Yeah, for sure. I think, not being pressured. I think I talked about this with Piefly on the podcast. If you're not pressured, I think that helps a lot with what you believe in, because if you are pressured into believing in, this thing and this thing only, I think it kind of draws you away from it. So it's good if parents are kind of, in my opinion, not as harsh of a religion, but will show their children, their religion, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's just luck of the draw,
Yeah. Yep. Sure. So to kind of end it off, we'll end it off on a future note. What is your dream?
I mean, I guess my dream will change as I get older, but I think right now, really, it's just about, doing good things in the space, helping people, making money that I can support my family, which I've been very fortunate to be able to do at this stage. By no means am I, going to go buy a Lambo tomorrow, but, working in the space for 2.5 years has definitely, been a blessing. But yeah, really the dream is to build really good products under FaZe Labs. Obviously we have a line which is being used for the Bonkathon right now, Netrunner as well, which we recently acquired, which is the tax reporting tool. That is something that, we're really putting a significant amount of effort into. And obviously also what the things that we're doing at Radiance, which is really, kind of public goods orientated. So my dream really is to just build sustainable businesses, help push the Solana ecosystem forward. I want to do this for the rest of my life. Hopefully inspire some people along the way, and do it right.
For sure.
Hopefully set some kind of an example with what we're doing. But again, that's the current dream, I would say.
Yeah, I love that. I love helping people. That's kind of why I started the podcast, was to help people learn about cool people and cool projects that I think I would invest my money into. So that was why I brought you on, because bro, you're building something cool. You're doing cool stuff, and I'm not even joking. I'm gonna need. I honestly, might actually buy the DJ deck, and I might need your help. I'm not even joking. I was thinking about it.
Do it, dude. Hell yeah, man. That's gonna be sick.
We ball. But Seb, it was fun, bro. Go ahead.
If I can give one shout out for anyone listening, please check out the Bonkathon. We're busy currently hosting it as Radiance. We're the hosts of the Bonkathon. It's the first online global Solana-based bonk hackathon. $350,000 in prizes, 6 tracks, AI, DeFi, gaming, public goods, consumer apps, and then we have the Solana continuation track from the Renaissance Hackathon. We've got about 350 signups currently. Just really just an epic event. And also, Carter, dude, thank you so much for having me on, bro. An absolute G. And thanks everyone for listening, honestly.
Let's wait. I want to hear one more thing about the Bonkathon. Before we end this. Wait, gaming, I heard. Wait, how can I get involved with the Bonkathon?
So one of the tracks is gaming. Yeah. So essentially, if you go to our website or onto a line, there's a sign up section where you basically would just sign up, create an account, or you create your user account first. So you connect your wallet, create your user account. I'll send the link here in the chat. And then once that's done, you can sign up to the Bonkathon. I would say one team member signs up the team, and then essentially you have like a submission form that you can fill out, which just has some information, what you guys are building, what tracks you're busy submitting for. You can submit your product up to 2 tracks. So, if it falls within AI and DeFi, you can submit for both of those. And then the cool thing is that you can actually edit that submission, over the next 2 weeks still, because we have 2 weeks left. Submissions open on June 3rd, and then submissions close on June 10th. So there's still some time to get involved. And then what you would do is at the end of the submission period, or from the 3rd of next month, or 3rd of June, you'd actually finish your edits of your submission, and then you'd actually confirm and sign that on chain, and then that would be sent through, and then we'll have the judges. We've got some really, really dope judges as well. I'll send you all the didetails, Carter.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so just a pretty awesome event. I guess I can share this link in this. I don't know if I didn't see people in the chat, but I'll just share it in the chat. Don't worry, it's a legit link, guys. I know it's a little bit long and intimidating, but I promise it's good.
Well, Seb, I appreciate you. Thanks for explaining that to me. And it was fun. I'll be back in an hour for the Asset Dash podcast. If you are watching this on YouTube, Seb's links will be down below. And, if you're not already subbed, make sure you sub. Come on now. So let's get it. Seb, I appreciate you. And I appreciate everyone watching. There was 95 people watching on Twitter. Let's go.
Let's go, man. Thanks so much, brother. Appreciate it.
Peace.